Gravity Yoga Yogis, hope you are all okay this week. So we're coming into week 2 of lockdown, and I think we're all feeling just that little bit anxious, that little bit unusual. Everything is so different. We're all a little bit worried as to what's going to happen in the future, and you know where we're all going to be in a few months' time. So this is very much a class about just helping you to relax and to release some of that tension, some of that anxiety, some of that emotion maybe. So to start off with, we are going to be using a block. If you haven't got a block, just grab hold of a saucepan, an upturned saucepan works just as well, or if you have one a really thick, maybe hardback book is just as good. And then a rolled up blanket. Blankets are great for everything. So during the class, if you find that your knees may be a little bit delicate, a little bit tender, you can always unroll it and just pop them underneath the knees. Or you can use it to prop yourself up. So don't wait for me to prompt you to use any of the props involved. So just pop me onto pause and go and grab your bits, and we'll meet back here on the mat. Okay, so for those of you that don't know me, my name is Sam. I'm based in the UK and I own Gravity Yoga UK. Gravity Yoga UK is predominantly aerial based, so trapeze and silks, but I also teach a lot of mat-based classes, and during lockdown I'm going to be adding classes right through. Some of them will be like today, stretch, relax, restore, very restorative, very yin based, and some more strength based as well. So please add yourself to my channel, Gravity Yoga UK, either the Facebook page or also the YouTube channel. So it will be great to have you practicing along with us. Today we're going to start by just finding a nice position laying down on your mat. Once you're down there, I've got a dog here as well, by the way, so if you're wondering what this lump is here, it's just my dog's furry butt. He's decided to join us today. So lay yourself down, and to start off with, we are going to focus on keeping the knees bent and the heels drawn up towards our bottoms. Start to lengthen through the neck, relax the shoulders, relax the spine into the floor. Make sure that your clothes aren't all bunched up underneath you. We want to make ourselves as comfortable as possible. Have your feet about hip distance apart, and then just allow your knees to knock together. So by doing that, what we're doing is we're switching off the psoas muscle. The psoas muscle is one of the major muscles within our body, and it runs right from the middle of the spine, down the spine, across the hip and into the top of the thigh joint. And it's not very often that that muscle gets switched off. So knees together, relaxed spine, lengthened neck. Just take the palms a little away from the body and just have your hands facing up towards the sky. If you feel that you're a little bit vulnerable like that, you can always just wrap the hands across the chest, one hand to the heart, maybe one hand to the tummy. And with your knees, with your legs bent, if you find that that's uncomfortable, then by all means, feel free to move your legs, especially if you suffer with back ache or achy joints. It can sometimes be just a little bit too much to stay there for too long, so feel free to move them into a position. But for the rest of us, we're going to start our practice today in this position, and we're just going to take some inhales through our nose and exhale through our mouth. I'll talk you up and down. So just take a normal inhalation and a normal exhalation. And then take a really deep inhale through your nose. Open your mouth, let it out. Again, really deep inhalation through your nose. Big exhalation through your mouth. One more like that. Inhaling and exhaling. Then close your mouth and start to just incorporate your yoga breath. So inhaling through your nose and exhaling through your nose, colds and allergies permitting. And just allow your body to start to really relax into the floor, into your mat. So hopefully with those deep and full exhalations through our mouths, what we've done is exhale tension, exhale stress. So start to just come into tune with your breath. Just focusing on changing the inhales and the exhales to just through your nose. And once you've got that flow going, start to deepen your breath. So as always, we're inhaling, feeling that expansion throughout the chest, the lungs filling up, the belly just very gently raising up. And then exhaling fully, every last little drop away. So inhaling calmness and exhaling tension. And just keep that flow going. Just really lovely, deep and full inhalations. And really full but thorough exhalations. And just start to feel that calmness sweeping through you. So now we've got that flow going of inhales and exhales through our nose, we're going to incorporate a little practice to hopefully calm your nervous system, to calm any thoughts that are going on within your body, to relax you just that little bit more. And what we're going to do, we're going to breathe in through our noses to a count of 4, and then we're going to breathe out to a count of 6. So I'm going to count you through that twice, and then I want you to continue to focus on your breath. Inhaling to a count of 4 and exhaling to a count of 6 on your own. And I'll tell you when to stop. So just take a normal inhalation and a normal exhalation. And then inhaling 1, 2, 3, 4, and exhaling 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So start to focus on your breath, start to work with that breathing of inhaling to a count of 4 and exhaling to a count of 6. Make that the last round of 4-6 breathing, and then start to change that pattern to breathing into a count of 4 and breathing hopefully you are starting to just feel that little bit calmer, a little bit more relaxed. The body is starting to soften. And I want you right through practice today to focus on your breath. Try to stop the thoughts from travelling outside of what you are doing within this hour. Yeah, if you find that your thoughts are disappearing off and you're starting to whittle about things, or just think about things that are not within the class, focus on your breath, focus on those inhales and focus on those exhales. Good, so we're going to take a nice deep inhalation. We're going to start to just slide the heels down towards the bottom of our mat. Float the arms up towards the sky, come into a lovely full body stretch. So really, really think about lengthening through every part of your body. Fingers, hands, wrists, arms, the whole of the chest, the spine. Really lengthen through the legs, point through the toes. Biggest, deepest stretch of the day. Have a little smile to yourself. So by smiling, what we're doing is tricking our brain into thinking we're happy, and it just starts to release some happy hormones, which we could all do with at the moment. So really big grin to yourself. Nobody can see you. Another big inhale, see if you can lengthen even more. And then on the exhale, start to draw one knee into the chest, the other knee into the chest. Wrap your arms around your shins. Give yourself a well-earned hug and a squeeze. And we're just going to take a moment or two here to gently massage our spine into the floor. Gently rocking from side to side. And just make those movements as dynamic as you want to. So I'm just taking my hands onto my knees and I'm just massaging the base of my spine into the mat. As most of you know, I have a fusion in my spine, and if I'm stressed, that's where I carry a lot of tension in my spine, and I've really suffered in the last couple of weeks. So anything I can do to just help release that tension is good. But you could be totally different. You could carry your tension within a different part of your body. Some people carry it in the shoulders, some people carry it in the hips. It could be totally different for you. Good, and then we're going to inhale and just lengthen back out one more time. Really deep, big stretch. And exhale, curling back into that ball, bringing the knees into the chest, arms to the shins. Twice more like that. So inhale, lengthening, stretching, really feeling the body starting to waken up. Maybe wiggle fingers and toes at the same time. Exhale, hugging the knees into the chest. Last time, big inhale, start to lengthen, stretch. Exhale, hugging those knees back in. Yeah, we're going to take our hands to the outside of our shins. Take a nice big inhalation. Gently float the head and shoulders away from the floor, drawing the nose towards the knees, giving yourself a lovely little squeeze. And what we're doing is, as well as working into our physical body, we're also working into the organs inside here. Just really starting to massage them and squeezing out all of that stale blood, so that when we take another inhale and lengthen back out, lengthen through your arms, your legs, all of that lovely oxygenated blood that we have spent the last 5 minutes breathing into is flooded into our organs too. Good, and then exhaling, bring the knees back into the chest. We're going to float into our happy baby. So soles of the feet come up and they're parallel to the floor and the ceiling. And you want to bend your knees and start to just guide those knees towards the armpits. We're going to take our hands to, you have choices here. You can either grab the soles of your feet if you can reach them. If not, if your arms aren't quite long enough, then you can just grab behind the back of the thighs, and we're going to just hug our knees in. We're going to think about lengthening through our spine. So we want to try and push the tailbone down towards the floor. What we don't want is our bum right up in the air. So we're lengthening through here. The spine, relaxing the shoulders down, and just take a moment to gently rock from side to side. Massaging that spine a little bit more. Coming back into stillness. So we're going to keep the left knee bent, and we are going to inhale and see if we can just stretch through that right leg. See if you can straighten that right leg. If not completely, then just a little bit. And exhale, bring in the right knee back in towards the armpit. Inhale, lengthening through the left leg. See if you can straighten that a little. Exhale, bringing the knee back in. So again, inhaling, stretching out through the right leg. Exhaling in. Inhaling, lengthening through the left leg. And exhaling, bringing it in. And then we're going to inhale and see if we can lengthen through both legs. See if you can just straighten those knees. We're going to stay here for a second or two. So just maybe roll from side to side if that feels good, or just stay in stillness and see if you can just stretch through it. So you should feel that right at the top of your hamstrings into your glutes. Really think about pushing the tailbone down though. Don't allow your bottom, your hips to raise up. And then next exhale, drawing the knees into the chest. Taking a hand to each knee. We're going to make circles with our knees. So nice and slowly start to send your knees in opposite directions, just making those circles. Allowing your hands to guide your knees, but we're doing it really gently. So inhaling half a circle and exhaling, completing that circle. Inhaling and exhaling. So we're still focusing on keeping that breath going. And you want the exhales to be the same length of time as the inhales now. So maybe you keep that 4-4 pattern that we talked about at the start of the class. So breathing into a count of 4, breathing out to a count of 4. One more circle in this direction. And then we're going to just start to reverse those circles. Working into our hips. And just feeling the body hopefully just relax that little bit more. So our hips tend to hug onto a lot of emotions. The energy gets stuck there. So it's nice to just release that energy, to allow that energy to flow, and for any emotions that are stuck, to just get them moving out of the way too. Good, last one, and then we are going to pop the soles of our feet back onto the floor. So you want to keep the knees bent, and you want to just have the feet about hip distance apart, so you've got that little bit of a gap in between. We're going to take our arms and we're going to bring our arms into cactus arms. So your elbow is in line with your shoulder and your hands are just facing up towards the sky. Good. And we're just going to gently window wiper our knees from one side to another. So just imagine your legs are like window wipers, and just very slowly taking them from one side of the mat to the other. And that's just releasing any tension that we may have built up in the base of the spine by working into the hips with Happy Baby and with our circles. Good. And then we're going to bring the knees back up to face the sky. You're going to take the right leg and you're going to cross it completely across the left leg. Squeeze the thighs together, so really tightly, as if you were sitting on a chair, squeezing them in, and we're going to allow our knees to drop down over to the left hand side. Now we're going to keep our right shoulder pushed into the floor. You're going to keep your right arm pushed into the floor too, so we're not allowing our body to roll up and over. So we're just twisting from the base of the spine. Now, if that feels a little bit like it's uncomfortable for your knees, you have your rolled up blankets, guys. You can always grab hold of the blanket and just pop it underneath your legs, or use your saucepan, your block, whatever it is you're using for a prop today. And we're here for a few breaths, so we're going to focus our breathing to the base of the spine and to that right hip. And if it feels good for you, gently roll your head to the right hand side. So what we've done is created that S shape in our spine. We're going to refocus on our breath, and we're here for about 5 full rounds of breath. So you still want to keep those breaths deep and full. You still want to imagine with each inhalation that you're inhaling that calmness, that peace, that tranquility, and exhaling away tension, stress, emotions that are disturbing, anxiety, anything that is just weighing you down at the moment. Exhale it away. Next in breath, very gently floating the head back to center, floating the legs back up, uncrossing the right from the left, and we're going to cross the left over the right. So again, squeeze the thighs together and then allow your leg package to just drop over to the right hand side. This time we're going to focus on really pushing the left shoulder, the left arm into the floor, and if it feels good, allowing your head to roll to the left hand side. Now that breath focus is on the left hip, the base of the spine again. And just feeling that we're opening up through the side body. Breathing through. Creating that space, allowing that energy to flow. These twists are also really, really good for your digestive system. And I don't know whether you can hear me, I don't know whether the microphone's picking up, my stomach is growling, it's like really, really growling this morning, so hopefully, hopefully you can't hear it, but so don't be worried if that's happening to you, it's quite natural, it's just where we're working into the abdominals with that twist. Breath, inhaling head to center, knees up to center, uncrossing the legs, pulling the knees into the chest, and again just taking a moment to give yourself a little hug and squeeze, just making whatever movements with your spine onto the mat that feel good to release any tension in the lower part of your spine. And then rolling ourselves up to seated position. So just grab behind the back of the thighs. I love to just roll backwards and forwards 2 or 3 times because again, it's that massage of the spine. But if that's not your thing, just roll yourself up and we'll meet together sat upright on our mats. So sitting yourself up nice and tall. And remember, you can always just pop the block or your saucepan underneath your bum if you feel that you just need to have that lengthening through the spine. Just lifts the hips up and just makes seated just that little bit easier. So cross-legged, guys, if that is accessible to you, then if not, obviously just have your legs out in front of you. Just make sure that the top part of the body is nice and upright. So we're stacking the shoulders over the hips. Nice and parallel to the floor. And top of the head wants to feel like it's being pulled up towards the sky. We're going to take a moment to just start to incorporate some shoulder rolls. So we're taking the shoulders up towards the ears, then pushing them backwards. So you're drawing the shoulder blades together and then down. Really big, lovely shoulder rolls. It's the only time I allow those shoulders to be anywhere near your ears. The rest of the time we're pushing them away. And then just reversing that action. So starting to bring the shoulders forwards and just really lengthening through that space in between the shoulder blades. One more. Yeah, sit yourself up nice and tall. Going to inhale the arms out to the side, raise them up and overhead. Interlace the fingers, push the palms up towards the sky. Relax the shoulders. Sit up nice and tall, take a deep inhalation. And on the exhale, lean over to your right hand side. Want to keep those ears in line with the arms. And you should start to feel that lovely stretch in the arms. The muscles of the arms kicking in. Working down through the side body, over that left hip. Inhaling, coming up. And exhaling over to our left hand side. So we don't want to be leaning forwards. Make sure that that armpit is up and wide. Breathe, release, relax down. Again, inhale, coming up. And then just exhaling, palms together in front of our hearts. Big inhale, lengthen through. Turn the palms up towards the sky. Going to leave the left hand where it is. We're going to plant the right hand down beside us on the mat. So have it in line with your hip. If you can't quite reach with the palm, then you can always cupcake the fingers, whatever feels good. And we're going to exhale and start to lean over to the right. Really push that left bum cheek in towards the floor. And you want to try and keep your ear in line with your right shoulder, your right hand in line with your right hip, and your left arm in line with your left ear. So we're keeping that plane, that nice straight plane of movement through the body, not leaning forwards or back, just really feeling that lovely stretch. Inhaling, coming up to center point and exhaling over to the left hand side. So plant that left hand in line with your left hip. Start to stretch, lengthen through with the right arm, the right hand. Push that right bum cheek onto the floor or your block, whatever it is you're sat on. And just feel that lovely lengthening through. And then inhaling. Bringing both arms up. Exhaling, palms together in front of our hearts. So we're going to switch legs. So if you are cross-legged, whichever leg is in the front, we're going to place to the back, and whichever is in the back to the front. I'm going to pop off of my block for this one because we're going to come into more of a forward type fold. Sit yourself up nice and tall. We're going to place the palms in front of us, so just cupcake the fingers, and on the exhale you're going to start to walk your hands forward, lengthen through as far as you can, and then lower the head down towards the floor. So I've turned sideways so you can see me. What we want to do is to push the tailbone into the mat. So you're walking, extending through the spine, lengthening through the arms, and then when you can go no further, just allowing that head to just gently drop down in between your hands. We're here for just a few breaths, just feeling that lovely lengthening through. Still very much working into our hips, but also lengthening through the arms, the spine, the fingers. Good, one more breath. So inhale and exhale. Start to walk the hands a little closer to you. Coming into upright position. And then center the legs out in front of you. It's got really warm in here. I'm in the sun, which is absolutely gorgeous, but I'm going to just take a layer off before I start to cook too much. So, have the legs out in front, pitter-patter the legs up and down. And we are going to bring the right side of the foot into tree pose, so to the inside of your left leg. Think about just squaring the hips off so the hips are facing forwards. We're going to take a nice deep inhalation and we're going to lengthen through the arms, send the arms up and overhead. So you're really lengthening through. And on the exhale, start to hinge at the hips. Bringing the arms forward, greeting maybe your feet, maybe the ankle, maybe the leg, wherever you can stretch to. And then once you've lengthened through, starting to bow the head down. But we're going to make it quite an active stretch to start off with. So with each inhale, just raise up a little more, so just a few inches. Think about lengthening through, and then exhale, folding down. So inhale, coming up, maybe making that space, lengthening through, exhale, folding down. One more, inhale. Lifting up that little bit more to make that space. Exhale, folding down. Now we're going to make it quite passive, so we're going to give into that stretch. We're going to bow our heads. We're going to release any tension within the shoulders. Think about activating it through the left foot to make it a little bit stronger. So just flexing into that heel, and then just surrender to gravity. Gravity is doing all the hard work, pulling us down towards the floor. So you should feel that lovely stretch right down the back of your leg now. Right down the back of the leg. And maybe even as you start to soften, as the body starts to relax into the pose, maybe you start to feel that your head, the top part of your body, is just slowly floating down to greet your knee. And we're here for 2 more full rounds of breath. So keep that focus on your breathing. And then inhaling, looking towards your toes and floating yourself into a nice upright position. We're going to restack the right leg but keep the right knee bent. We're going to grab hold of the right foot and place it over the outside of the left thigh. Now, left toes, we're going to pop those underneath our right bum cheek. If that is too much, if you're finding that that's too much of a stretch, then by all means just keep the right leg lengthened through. If not, if you're like me, we're going to tuck the right toes underneath. We're going to take our left elbow and hug our right knee in and just gently start to twist the body towards the right hand side. And then with our right hand, we're going to inhale and lengthen. Now as we lengthen, as we send the right hand up towards the sky, I want you to think about lengthening through the spine too. On the exhale, that right hand is going to swoop down behind us so it's in line with the back of your spine. Cupcake your fingers, so it's like a bicycle stand. It's just helping to keep that spine really straight. And then on the exhale, take a gentle twist to look over your right shoulder. And we're here for about 3 or 4 breaths, guys. So just think about with each inhalation, sitting up taller, and maybe on the exhalations, you can twist that a little bit deeper. So you're never forcing yourself into positions. Remember, your bodies need to just gently release and relax and open up on their own. So no pain with these positions. As your body softens, maybe you're finding that you can just twist that a little bit deeper. And then inhale, floating the head back to center, the torso back to center, sending the arms out to the side, the legs in front of us, and just pitter-patter the legs up and down, just releasing that tension, or just swinging the legs from side to side. We want to get rid of any tension that we've built up through our last pose. And then switching sides, so lengthening through the right, left sole of the foot to the inside of the right. and then squaring off our hips. Really activating through the right foot, sitting up nice and tall, relaxing the shoulders. Inhale, lengthening through the arms to the side, and then sending the palms up and overhead. Sitting up tall on the exhale, starting to hinge forwards. We're lengthening through all the time as we're hinging. That back is nice and straight. Maybe grabbing the foot and ankle, or just having your hands on the floor. And for the first 3 breaths, we're just going to inhale, raise up a few inches more. And then exhale, fold a little deeper. So inhale, raising up a little, lengthening through, exhale, folding a little deeper. Inhale, raising up. Exhale, folding, and then releasing through the body. So making it quite a passive stretch now. We're allowing gravity to take over. Head is bowing down, shoulders are softening. The only thing that I would suggest to keep active is your heel. Yeah, if you flex into your foot, you'll get a much deeper stretch. Or if that's truly uncomfortable, then just release that flex of the foot. So still deep and full breaths here, remember. Two more full rounds of breath. And looking towards the toes, and inhale, floating yourself into that nice upright position. Restacking the left leg, hugging the left knee in. We're going to place the left foot over the top and to the outside of the right thigh. Tuck left toe, right toes under left bum cheek, or keep the right leg straight. Right elbow, left knee gently turning your body towards the left, and then inhaling the left arm up towards the sky, sitting up nice and tall. Exhale, floating the arm behind us. Remember, we're cupcaking those fingers, we're making our spine as tall and as straight as possible. And then on your next exhale, start to twist to look over the left shoulder. So this we nicknamed Pretzel in my Tuesday evening Parklands group. For obvious reasons, we're in a lovely little pretzel shape. And we're going to use the next few breaths to just deepen that stretch. So inhale, lengthen, exhale, maybe twist a little deeper. You can always use your arm as you're hugging it into the knee to just help as a little bit of leverage to twist you round into this pose too. And next in breath, slowly starting to just twist back to the front. Releasing the hands out to the side, the legs out to the front, and again, just making those movements with your legs, pushing up and down, or just window wiping them to release that tension. And then rolling over onto all fours into your tabletop position. So just rolling over, stacking the knees underneath the hips. And we're going to start by making some figure of eights. Make sure that the hands are nice and spread and that your wrists are stacked underneath your shoulders. Your knees are underneath your hips. And think about that lengthening from tailbone through the spine, neck, top of the head. And then we're just going to gently start to sway our hips to one side, circle through the middle, and then push forwards. So we're actually making like a figure of 8 with our belly button on the floor. And you can make these figure 8s as dynamic as you want to. Yes, they could just be tiny little ones like this, where you're not moving very much at all. Or you could take your hips right back to your heels and then push the shoulders right forwards. So just work on how you feel, how dynamic you want to be. But just making that figure of 8. One more in this direction, and then we're going to change that figure of 8 and take it back in the other direction. So it may feel a little bit clunky, a little bit unusual doing something in the opposite direction to how we would normally, but just go with it, it's fine. And we're going to do 2 more in this direction. And then meet back in just a neutral tabletop. Good. So I'm having a bit of a clothing malfunction here. My trousers are starting to slide down my legs. I'm just going to pull them back up. Just tidy myself up and back into that tabletop position. Good. So I'll turn to face forwards for you. What we want to do is to think about just working into our wrists here for a moment. So our hands and wrists tend to not get an awful lot of work. So keeping the shoulders above the wrist to start off with and the hands really spread, I want you to just gently pulse backwards and forwards. It's just working into the wrists in one direction. I know some of you may find that this is a little bit uncomfortable on your wrists, so you can always come up onto your knuckles, but just be really gentle as you're going backwards and forwards. Don't want you to nose back the floor. I have a lot of students who are aerial students, and with us we do need to keep that flexibility and strength going through our hands. Good, so coming back into that neutral tabletop position. Now we're going to turn the fingers to face towards our knees. You still want to have the wrists stacked underneath your shoulders, and we're just very gently, again, just going to push backwards and forwards. But just be careful. Yeah, it can be really deep, so just maybe a centimetre or 2 is absolutely fine. Don't push yourself too hard. And just make sure that the whole hand is in connection with the floor. One more, forwards and back, and then just bringing the hands back into front. You can turn sideways again so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to come into child's pose, so toes together, knees apart, but cinch your knees as wide as you can. Yeah, so we're really working into the hips, sending them wide, sending the hips down to the heels, lengthening the arms forwards, and just allowing the head to float down towards the floor. And just taking a moment here to breathe. Now, you can always pop the blanket underneath your hips on the back of your heels if your bottom doesn't quite reach. So just allowing our body to just be for a moment, just relax. Good, and then just raise the head, and what we're going to do is coming into thread the needle, but into a child pose, thread the needle. So you're going to take your right hand, going to thread it in between your left knee and your left hand. Drop down onto your right shoulder, allow that right side of the head to hit the floor, and just really think about lengthening out straight your left hand. And just breathe in, just a more restorative, a gentler type of thread the needle. Inhale, inflating your head up, Sending your right arm forward and left hand is going in between a right hand, right knee down onto that left shoulder. Placing the left side of the head onto your mat and just releasing and relaxing through. Inhale in, starting to just straighten the left arm out in front, raising the head and walking the hands back towards it. Bring the knees together, walking yourself forward a little bit and then coming up and onto your bottom. And grab hold of your block. Grab hold of either your block or your saucepan, whatever you're using, and also grab hold of your rolled up blanket. Make sure it's rolled up. We're going to straddle through our legs and we're just going to have the block or the saucepan here and the blanket here. We're going to sit up nice and tall and place your hands onto your hips. So I've got a dog right here in front of me. I might need to just move, otherwise I think I might aggravate him. So we're going to flex into our heels, take your hands to your hips, and from here we're going to inhale, lengthen through the arms, send the palms up towards the sky, maybe look up towards the hands if that feels good, and then drop the palms down through your heart center. Okay, so we're going to keep our hands at our heart center and we're going to take our right foot and we're going to lift it over one prop, over the other prop, and then back. So we're literally bouncing in between those props. I am going to turn sideways because I'm not 100% sure that you can see my feet and I can't see what the camera's doing. So my props are here, my legs are straddled, hands in prayer, and we're just bringing the foot up and over, up and over. We're going to keep going. You can feel that, starting to feel the burn. On the inside of the thigh, the outside of the thigh. Once more, we can do it once more. Good, and just coming into a little bit of a forward fold, allowing your elbows to just relax down on the tops of your thighs, bowing your head down. If your feet were flexed, maybe just giving them a little bit of a wiggle and just taking a moment or two before inhaling and floating up. So whichever prop was on the outside, you want to just pop in over to this side now. So inhale, lengthen through. Relax the shoulders, take the hands up and overhead. Exhale, dropping those palms down through our heart center. So we want to try and keep the length within the spine. And if you push into the palms, it does actually help as well as activate through our arm muscles too. So left foot this time. So we're taking it up and over the props. You can speed it up. You can double time it if you want to. You should start to feel that activating in a minute through the inside, the outside of your left leg. And it's a little bit of fun as well, isn't it? So if you have got blocks, what we do when we're in class with the blocks is we gradually move the block to the higher level so that you can literally be working from the smaller level to the middle level. 2 blocks obviously, or taking it up high, so we're gradually just building up that coordination and balance as well as working with the core. There we go, last time. Okay, just pop the blocks to one side and again just come into that nice forward fold, relax the forearms on either to the floor floor or maybe onto your legs. Release the tension in the feet and just dangle forward for a moment. And take some deep breaths. And then inhale, floating the head up. Bring the legs together. Bending the knees and just grabbing hold of your rolled up blanket. Yeah, don't prop your saucepan in between your knees. We're going to just place the rolled up blanket in between our knees. Hug the knees together. Inhale the arms forwards. We're lengthening through the spine, and exhale, slowly start to just relax your body down onto the floor, onto your mat, and then wiggle yourself into a bridge type position. So knees bent, heels being drawn towards our bottoms, and just take your hands and draw the arms in towards the side body. See if you can maybe lengthen the fingers and tickle hold of the back of the heels. So what we're doing is tucking the shoulder blades underneath us, pulling the shoulders away from the ears. We're going to lengthen through our neck so that the chin dips down very gently towards the chest. We're going to hug that blanket in between our knees, and we're going to take a big inhale, pull the belly button in towards the spine, and as we do so, start to raise the hips up towards the sky. So as your hips start to raise, maybe you can tuck the shoulders a little closer together underneath you. Raise the hips. Breathe. Again, we're going to pulse here. So we're going to inhale, just send the hips a little higher. Exhale, float them down and hover. Yeah, so we're not taking them all the way to the floor. Inhale, hips go high. Exhale, floating down and hovering. Again, inhaling up. Exhaling down. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. So really working into the core, inhaling up, keep that motion going as I'm talking. Working into all of the muscles within the spine, but also working into your pelvic floor as well. So remember to squeeze inwardly as you go up. Good, last one. So next time you go up, inhaling, sending the hips up nice and high. Holding, breathing. Don't forget to breathe, don't forget to smile. And then exhaling, the hips come down, drawing the knees into the chest, removing the prop from in between your knees and just giving yourself a moment to hug and squeeze, rock from side to side, release that tension. Good, then floating the soles of the feet back down onto the mat. So feet hip distance apart. We're going to relax through the shoulders again, lengthen through the neck, chin dipping down. We're going to take our right ankle to our left thigh, so making that figure four or your supine pigeon pose here. Just take your right hand, place it on the inside of your right thigh, but don't push. We're not shoving the leg down. Just the fact that it's there, it's just going to activate through your body to maybe just release that hip a little more. And then I want you to activate and flex through your right ankle. So we're kicking into the right ankle, we're relaxing down. Think about squaring off your hips here. So you want to have your right and your left hip in alignment. So if that right hip is sort of up and twisted, just see if you can push it back down so that it's level with the left. Breathe in. And breathing out. So we've really been working into our hips today, which is good. Just releasing that pent up tension, energy and emotion. So you can either stay here if this is deep enough for you. If you want to just take it that little bit deeper, then just thread the hands behind the back of your your left thigh, and pull that leg package towards you. So now if your feet are off the floor, we're activating through both ankles, not just the right one. We still want to try and keep the hips in alignment, and you're just guiding that leg package towards us, but at the same time you don't want to bum right up in the air. Push the tailbone, flatten the spine onto the mat, and breathe, just breathing it through. So again, nice lovely stretch at the back of your thigh. And just as you can stay here, or if you want to just lengthen through your left leg and turn it into more of a hamstring stretch, then do feel free to do so. So you've got 3 different positions here. You can choose which one feels good for you. Last round of breath here, so taking a nice deep inhale, and on the exhale just floating the foot down to the mat, releasing through our right foot, placing that back onto the floor in line with your right hip, and switching sides, so left ankle, right thigh, left hand inside of left thigh, right hand just down on the floor beside you. And then think about that alignment of your hips. We're going to activate through that left heel. Relax the shoulders. And it may feel totally different on this side. This side for me is really, really tight. So I always feel that my left side needs that little bit of extra work to my right side. And you can stay here, or if you want to deepen it that little bit more, thread both hands behind the back of the right thigh, hug the leg package in towards you, push the tailbone towards the mat, relax the head and shoulders. And if both feet are raised, you want to be kicking into both heels, so active through both heels. Or if you want to turn it into more of your hamstring stretch, then just lengthen through. Send the right heel up towards the sky, relaxing and releasing down, breathing in, breathing out, just feeling hopefully that happy energy starting to flow through your body now. Good, one more inhale here, and on the exhale, floating first the right foot down, then the left foot down. Just walking your feet as wide as your mat, sending your arms into cactus arms again, so just sending the elbows in line with the shoulders, allowing the forearms and your hands to just head up towards the sky, and we're just going to gently window wiper from side to side again here. So just releasing that tension from the lower spine, but again just working into our hips. And bring the knees back up to center. We're coming into final relaxation pose now. So if you want to put any layers on, grab your layers, pop them on. And you have choices here, guys. You've all got rolled up blankets today, so I'll show you something with a rolled up blanket that you can perhaps do. But you choose where you want to be for your final relaxation. If you just want to be stretched out, that's fine too. But if not, rolled up blanket, we're just going to push the soles of the feet into the floor. We are going to pop the rolled up blanket under the base of the spine. So the sacrum, that arrow-shaped piece of bone at the base of the spine. And then we're just going to allow our hips to just drop back down onto it. So from here, you can either keep the knees bent or you can lengthen through. Yeah, depending on what feels comfortable for the base of the spine. I'm probably going to lengthen through mine today. I can take the arms a little way from the body, palms facing up towards the sky. I'm going to take a little inhale here and just allow our head, our chin to roll over to the right hand side of our mat. It's just releasing any tension within our neck. Inhaling, bringing that nose up to centre, and exhaling, sending the chin over to the left hand side. Inhaling, bringing the head back to centre. Now we're going to focus on relaxing through the body. So with your feet, just allow, maybe if you're lengthened through, that is, just allow your feet to just drop out to the sides of your mat. So we're just releasing through. Wiggle your toes a little bit just to get rid of any tension that we're holding there, and then just relax them. Relax through the legs, relax through the base of the spine. Relax the middle part of the spine, the upper part of the spine, relax the shoulders. Wiggle the fingers and then just release the fingers to relax. Relaxing the elbows. Softening the jaw and the forehead. And we're here for about 5 minutes. So just allow the breath now to just happen quite normally. So you're releasing the control on the breath. Releasing control on body. Releasing control on mind. Try not to allow your mind to wander. Try and keep this next 5 minutes just for total relaxation of body and of mind. next in-breath just that little bit deeper. Bringing your awareness back into the room, into bodies. Gently wiggling fingers and wiggling toes. If you are lying on any of your props, then very carefully just remove them, place them to one side of your mat and come into a lovely full stretch. So just float the arms up and overhead and stretch through. Start to wake the body back up. And maybe have another little smile to yourselves before gently drawing one knee into the chest, the other knee into the chest. Take your hands to your shins and just giving yourself a hug, a squeeze, all that final little massage on the floor. And while you're here, maybe just taking a moment to offer silent gratitude to your body for being fit and healthy and well. And then slowly allow the knees to remain bent but drop over to the left hand side of your mat and your head to roll to the right hand side. Just a few breaths here, just final little twist on the spine. And then inhaling the knees up to centre. And exhaling the knees over to the right and your head to the left. Rolling your whole body over onto the right hand side and just taking a moment or two to just make sure that full awareness is back in the room with you. Before gently pushing into your hands, putting yourself into a nice upright seated position. So your legs can be crossed in front of you. You could even be kneeling. Yoga is entirely up to you, but that top part of the body needs to be nice and upright again. Relaxing through the shoulders, chin nice and parallel to the floor. And we're going to close our eyes. We're going to take a big inhalation through our nose. And we're going to exhale it out through our mouth. 2 more big inhale through the nose. And exhale through your mouth. Final one, inhaling. Exhaling through your mouth. Bring your right hand to your heart, left hand to your tummy. May this practice heal and strengthen our bodies and our minds. May this practice heal and strengthen your body and your mind. Thank you so very much for joining me today. I hope that it helped you feel that little bit more relaxed and a